Namaste, I am Dr. Kaushik Reddy. Namaste, I am Dr. Kaushik Reddy, consultant orthopedic surgeon, Apollo Hospital, Jubilees. ఈరోజు మనము మాట్లాడుకుంటున్నాము షోల్డర్ పెయిన్ అండ్ కామన్ షోల్డర్ ప్రాబ్లమ్స్ గురించి. సో షోల్డర్ పెయిన్, you probably don't think about shoulder pain unless you suddenly experience pain in the shoulder when you are trying to brush your teeth, or when you are trying to comb your hair, or when you want to put your hand behind your back. So unless you have difficulty in doing those kind of activities, day-to-day activities, you actually don't realize that you are having a shoulder pain. So shoulder pain it ranges from a very mild pain to a sudden severe excruciating pain, and it can range from a sudden acute onset of pain, or it can be a gradual pain. So questions? Okay. So as you know that shoulder pain, there are multiple causes for a shoulder pain. So what should you do when your shoulder hurts? And do you actually need to consult a doctor immediately? If it is a very mild pain and can be usually controlled by yourself, like by modifying your activities, or by taking mild painkillers, or by doing some simple stretching exercises, you can actually control the shoulder pain at home by yourself. But if the pain is sudden and severe, and it is probably because of some injury that you have developed a shoulder pain, then I would suggest you to immediately consult a doctor. And I know that now it is a very tough period which is going on. There are a lot of coronavirus cases which are increasing every day. So visiting hospitals and clinics, there is always a fear amongst people whether visiting hospitals is safe or not. It is definitely safer. Here at Apollo Hospitals, we are taking all the necessary precautions to ensure that you are in a safe environment and in safe hands. So whenever you have any sudden severe shoulder pain or excruciating pain, probably because of some injury, or when you are trying to lift some heavy object and when you are trying to put it in the shelf above, or when you are taking your dog for a walk and then you tripped and you fell down on the ground directly on your shoulder and you are experiencing severe pain, then probably you must be having some serious condition in the shoulder, for which you need to visit a doctor, so that the doctor will examine you and do the necessary investigations like X-rays or MRI scans, and then he will advise the treatment accordingly. So what are the different conditions which can cause a shoulder pain? So there are mainly five different common shoulder problems which anybody can experience in their day-to-day life. So the most common one, the first one, is any problems related to the rotator cuff. So rotator cuff can cause irritation or impingement of the rotator cuff, or it can cause a tear of the rotator cuff. That is the first one. So the second one is adhesive capsulitis, or commonly called as frozen shoulder. The third one is calcific tendinitis, which I will explain you later on. What are all these conditions and what are the symptoms that you see in these conditions and how to treat them. And arthritis of the shoulder is again a very, even though it's not a common one, like in the knee or hip, but it does occur, arthritis in the shoulder joint. And the last one is shoulder dislocations, chronic shoulder dislocations or recurrent shoulder dislocations, which are very common in young active individuals. Okay, so first let's discuss about rotator cuff injuries. So rotator cuff is a group of 4 muscles and tendons that help in attaching the ball of the shoulder joint to that help in attaching the ball to the socket. So this rotator cuff group of muscles help in the circular motion of the shoulder joint. As you know, shoulder is a ball and socket joint. So for the shoulder joint to move in a circular fashion, the rotator cuff muscles are very important. Out of all the rotator cuff muscles, the most important one is the supraspinatus tendon. So this supraspinatus tendon which is there, this one is the most common one which can get injured. So in rotator cuff, it can be a tear or an impingement. What is an impingement? Impingement of the rotator cuff means the rotator cuff can get irritated, inflamed, or compressed, causing a inflammation of the tendon. So what exactly happens when somebody has a impingement or an inflammation of the rotator cuff tendon? So suppose somebody is lifting their hand above the head level, then they will have severe pain in the shoulder joint. So in that case, so they will be having difficulty in like combing their hair or wearing a dress or keeping their hand behind the back. So all these activities will be painful. And the next one, so what is the treatment for this? So anybody with a rotator cuff impingement, usually if you restrict your activities, so one more thing, it is very common in people who are doing repetitive activities of the shoulder, like for example, teachers who have to write on the board continuously, so repetitive movements, or painters, or anybody who is cleaning the class, or any household items. So if you do any activity repetitively, you can have an inflammation of the rotator cuff or impingement of the rotator cuff tendons. So what is the treatment for this rotator cuff impingement? Usually if you restrict your activities and you take some mild painkillers and you do a physiotherapy, or sometimes you may need an injection in the shoulder joint, which will reduce that inflammation. So not everybody will need any surgery for the rotator cuff impingement unless there is a extra bone growth called acromial spur, which can cause damage to the rotator cuff. So the next one in rotator cuff is rotator cuff tears. So what is a tear? Rotator cuff tear means the part of the tendon which is attached to the bone is ripped off from the bone. So either it can be a partial tear or a complete rotator cuff tear. So in a partial tear, only part of the tendon is ripped away from the bone. Whereas a complete tear, the entire tendon is ripped away from the bone. So there is no attachment of the tendon to the bone. And so rotator cuff, what is the difference between an impingement of the rotator cuff and a tear of the rotator cuff? So a tear of the rotator cuff, the person will have weakness of the arm along with pain. And the pain will be severe in the night. So night pain will be present, and he will have difficulty on sleeping on the same side of the shoulder where he is having problem. So rotator cuff tear, if it is present, then most likely these patients will need a surgery to the shoulder. So what surgery is needed for these patients? So surgery is in the form of an arthroscopy surgery. So in an arthroscopy surgery, it is a keyhole surgery where 2 or 3 small holes, 4 mm or 5 mm holes will be there, through which we will pass the arthroscope. So through the arthroscope, seeing under direct visualization on the reading monitor, we will be repairing the rotator cuff. So we will put special implants called anchors. So these anchors have got threads with needles. So we will stitch the rotator cuff tear back to the bone. So rotator cuff tears usually need a surgery, but initially they can be managed conservatively with physiotherapy, injections, activity modification, but still if the patient is having severe pain, then most likely they will need a surgery. The next one is adhesive capsulitis. Adhesive capsulitis. Adhesive capsulitis, or commonly called as frozen shoulder. So this frozen shoulder problem is mostly seen in women who are between 40 to 60 years of age, and is common in people having diabetes or high cholesterol levels or thyroid problems. So this, what is the problem with this frozen shoulder? So frozen shoulder, what happens is when somebody has a frozen shoulder, so all the movements of the shoulder will be restricted. All the movements will be restricted. So this can happen, this is a self-limiting problem, and there is no etiology as such why this frozen shoulder occurs. But if someone has a rotator cuff problem, if someone has a rotator cuff impingement or a rotator cuff tear or any minor injury, and they are not moving their shoulders, then their shoulders can become stiff and they can develop frozen shoulder. So otherwise, even if somebody doesn't have any injury or any impingement or any tear, they can still have a frozen shoulder if they are diabetic or they have some thyroid problem or high cholesterol levels. And what is the treatment for this frozen shoulder? The treatment for this frozen shoulder, physical therapy or physiotherapy sometimes is helpful for these patients, but they will have severe pain during physiotherapy. So an injection in the shoulder will be helpful for them, and manipulation under anesthesia. So we can give some mild sedation to them and manipulate the shoulder, or we can do hydrodilation, in which we inject some saline into the shoulder and do the movement. And lastly, if all these things don't work for the patient, then he may again need an arthroscopy surgery, where we will release all the tight structures around the shoulder. So in frozen shoulder, basically what happens is there will be stiffening of or tightening of the structures or the tissues or the capsule around the shoulder. So if the capsule around the shoulder becomes tight, then the movements of the shoulder will be difficult and it will be painful. The next one is adhesive capsulitis. So I've already covered adhesive capsulitis. So the next one is calcific tendinitis. So calcific tendinitis is a problem which is again seen in middle-aged people, 40 to 60 years of age. So it can happen when they have an injury to the rotator cuff and it doesn't heal properly, and there can be some calcium deposits inside the rotator cuff muscle, which can cause severe pain. So in these people also, when they try to raise their hand above the head level, they can have pain. And this pain is more in the morning when compared to a rotator cuff problem, which is more in the night. And what is the treatment for this calcific tendinitis? Calcific tendinitis, the treatment again is rest to the shoulder, restriction of their activities. A steroid injection in the shoulder will be very much helpful for these patients, and physiotherapy. Most patients will benefit with ultrasound therapy or a shockwave therapy, will have very good results in calcific tendinitis. Usually these patients don't need any surgery unless the patient is having severe pain and it is not getting relieved, even with all the other measures which have been done before. Then they may need again an arthroscopy surgery, where the calcium deposits which are there, these calcium deposits needs to be removed through a arthroscopy procedure. And then arthritis of the shoulder. Again, arthritis of the shoulder, even though it is not a very common problem in the shoulder, but still it does occur in the shoulder. Whereas knee and hip arthritis is more common in our country, but shoulder arthritis also occurs. So what happens in a shoulder arthritis is the cartilage which is there on the shoulder joint, like for the ball and socket joint, the cartilage is damaged. So when the cartilage is damaged, the normal cartilage is damaged, the bone surfaces become rough and raw. So when you do any movements of the shoulder joint, so the raw surfaces rub against each other, and because of the friction, the person will have severe pain in the shoulder. And the treatment for this arthritis is initially again mild painkillers, physiotherapy, injection, and if it's not getting relief, then they will need a shoulder replacement surgery if they have severe arthritis in the shoulder and it is not getting relieved. Then the last one is shoulder dislocation. So shoulder dislocations are something which are very common in young people, young active people, and not very common in older people. So shoulder dislocation, once the shoulder dislocates, then the shoulder can have recurrent dislocations, because so once the shoulder dislocates, what happens is the socket has got a covering called labrum. So once the shoulder dislocates, this labrum is torn. So once there is no labrum there, then the shoulder joint can come out, this ball of the shoulder joint can come out easily. So what happens is, once it comes out, then it damages the ball of the shoulder joint also. So in that way, what happens is, the shoulder joint will dislocate in any activities. Like if someone is young and active and is a sports person, then whenever he wants to play any shuttle or badminton or tennis or basketball or swimming, so any of these activities where he has to use his shoulder, he can dislocate. So it's not only sports persons, it can happen to anybody. One shoulder dislocation can cause recurrent shoulder dislocation. That is why in these patients, most of them will need a surgery in the shoulder joint. And again, it's an arthroscopy surgery where 2 or 3 stitches are required, where we repair the labrum. So once the repair of the labrum is done, then the ball of the shoulder joint doesn't come out. In that way, the dislocation is prevented. These are the most common problems in the shoulder joint and most common causes of pain in the shoulder joint. And there are other minor causes also of the shoulder joint which are not very common, but still they can occur, like AC joint problems or a slap tears or biceps tendon problems. So these are the different other conditions of the shoulder where somebody can have pain in the shoulder. So let's go to some questions if you have, and I'll try to answer them. My questions will be in the right. Mic check. Hello. Hello. Mic check. Mic check. Yeah. So somebody has asked, what is bursitis of the shoulder? So basically, bursa are fluid-filled sacs which are present between the bones. So these are normal things. So bursa is something which is a normal structures which are present in between the bones. But in a shoulder joint, if there is any inflammation of the bursa, then it is called bursitis. So it is a painful condition. So when it is same like shoulder impingement or rotator cuff impingement, they will have severe pain when they try to lift their hand above their head level. Live questions here करूँ मैं? So somebody has asked me, so Mrs. Vaijan. seated shoulder stretch. So in a seated shoulder stretch, what you need to do is, suppose you want to stretch your right shoulder. So you come this way. So if you want to stretch your right shoulder, so keep your right hand right like this and hold your right elbow using your left hand. And then roll your shoulder down and back. And you feel the stretch in your shoulder. So in this way you feel the stretch and hold it for about 15 to 20 seconds. And again repeat it 3 to 4 times. The same way you have to